we had a little bit of difficulty on the road today. That is dish soap coming out from the furnace, which means the dish soap got on top of the furnace, which means the dish soap came from the counter. So I'm not excited about this, because there's gonna be a lot of cleanup associated. All right, so a couple turns on these screws to be able to take off this panel, and we'll see what we get, because I think we got a mess. So it looks like I've got soap that has run through the vents and come down onto the motor, and I've got a little bit dripping down, and I've stuffed a paper towel in there, but it was running out there, down the body. I'm thinking this nasty soap is because it got into some dusty areas and some junk in the furnace I can't really access. See how it's all dusty up top? The soap picked up the scunge on the way through. So, interesting. Could have been worse. Don't know how much soap we lost down the road, but little repairs to make on the road. Still some in there?
There's tons. Normally I wouldn't be keen to do this, but the furnace is fired.
Burned all the gas out of the lines, and what we're going to do is remove the gas line first. Alright, so I've loosened the gas line, and what I've got to do is remove screws on the sides of the stove to pull the stove forward. The soap spill that we had ran down the counter and behind the stove, down the wall behind the stove, and down I think the back of the stove, and then it's gone into the top of the furnace. So just got to clean all of this up before time passes and it gets worse. Yep, definitely got soap on the back edge of the stove there. These tiny little screws go along the back edge. There's 1, 2. They don't really structurally do much, but they do just stick into the counter so you can't slide the stove. I don't think they go in more than 1/8 of an inch. But I've removed them, and I think we can slide this out. All right. Yep, that's a puddle of soap. After sliding the stove forward, what we can see is a halo of soap there. Keep in mind this hasn't been taken out by us ever, so probably not for quite a while. So there'll be some other scunge. We've got some cobwebs. And down here we've got a giant puddle of soap that's been drying for a couple days. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all that up. Cleaning up soap now. we had soap that came across here, ran down the back of the oven. You can actually see that there's corrosion now from the soap being left on the back of the oven for a couple days. This is galvanized steel, and it's corroded from the soap. There's another interesting thing going on. It looks like there's mold in the bottom of the cabinet down here. What I actually think it is iron dust that's filtering out from the bottom of the stove. Pulled that out a little further to clean it up. The soap only was on about the back 6 inches of the shelf. There's a gap where it ran down below the shelf and into the furnace. Underneath the stove, our furnace is hidden behind a little panel. Taking the panel off, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what kind of soap damage was done. It's actually not as bad as I expected. There's a bit of a puddle along the insulation there at the back wall, some few drips down the wall, but I think most of it ran right through the slot in the furnace and ran right out. So it's been about 2 weeks since we had our soap incident in the furnace, and normally I wouldn't recommend hosing out the furnace, but under these circumstances we figured either the corrosive soap is going to ruin the board, or maybe the water ruins the board, but leaving the soap on it seemed like a bad idea, so we went ahead and cleaned it out. And I have to say, after about 2 weeks, it seems like it's working just fine. So I'm turning on the furnace now. It starts by getting the fan going, and then it'll fire the propane a couple seconds later. So we'll click, it fires, it's working.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. It really helps our channel.